Tuesday, March 7th, day 7th of our meditation challenge. Full moon this morning too, just to kind of throw it in there in case you are feeling a little more emotional than normally. For me, certainly that appears to be the case. So whenever you're ready, find your shape, find your space, and our 15 minutes timer starts now. So settling into your body, checking in for a moment with where you find yourself physically, settling into your breath, allowing the breath to come through in and out to connect with yourself, taking a moment, settling down, dropping in. And especially if it's proving it to be a challenging day, where for me it's been, and I've been looking for these 15 minutes because I didn't really have a chance to sit down today yet and ground and settle, and instead I've been just kind of running in circles, and I don't do so well when that happens, when I don't have those moments where I can kind of settle in here and there. And then which then what happens is it brings up all of the little rabbit holes that I run around whatever I am currently working on or processing. So just kind of notice if any of that is happening, or maybe just kind of reflect a little bit on whether you experience that when you are pulled into a variety of different directions. And yesterday we were bringing into the mix, it's like we're on this journey and every day we add a little bit of a something. So day 7 of our journey, yesterday we were bringing in a little bit of a notion of willingness to be open to forgiveness. And then some of you mentioned that you have actually watched that particular session multiple times. And that's a good thing, I think, if you're just not quite done with whatever it is that you're looking at in your head, whatever you're thinking about, or if that notion of whatever we happen to talk about brings up more in you, then maybe you need to sit with it a little bit longer. Nobody said that you need to be done within the 15 minutes that we have. That's just kind of just to initiate really the space or the mindset of whatever that brings up, right? So that's what we did yesterday. We initiated the notion of the possibility, the willingness, the openness to invite forgiveness into the mix. Not forgiven act itself, just the willingness to for forgiveness to show up at some point. And today I have been battling myself with, well, for once, not being able to ground. So maybe would be wise to just sit in a space of being pulled in many different directions and feeling ungrounded. But what also showed up, so that's one option, obviously, just to kind of sit with the discomfort of the day itself. And that would be huge, and I will probably need to do that a little bit more when we wrap this up, just to kind of accept the current state that is of pretty significant discomfort. But secondly, the other thing that I've been, kind of pondering on all day since the moment I woke up this morning, is the existence of the blind spots. And what does that really mean? Especially when we're working on something specific, or we're looking at something specific, right? And you kind of allowing yourself to feel, you're relating to that thing, you're noticing where you at, and then inevitably you run, some storylines, some scenarios, some logical experiments, some maybe justifying things, or rationalizing is better, rationalizing and logically, trying to come to possible conclusion, or just maybe even the sense of trying to understand not only your perspective, but other possible angles that may be involved, right? And the blind spot situation comes from what you think you believe to be true, but it's only your perspective. And you perhaps don't have enough information or other perspective, or you're not open to the possibility of other perspectives, or you're running a loop in your head of certain habitual or compulsive behavior, or a patternistic loop or cycle, and basically are stuck in this pattern, and are not able to include or consider some of the things that are playing into the situation or into the scenario. So basically, you don't know what you don't know, right? You kind of show up into it in a way blinded by your own perspective, until you become slowly unravel and possibly consider other things, or maybe you share with somebody, and somebody shares another possible perspective, or in a variety of way, or you just kind of grow through certain processes, and then at some point you're just like, oh yeah, I used to do that, right? And then you elevate, then you heal certain parts, or you address certain behaviors, or you have a realization of certain things due to experience or maturity or variety of other avenues, and then you learn more, right? You broaden your horizon, and you elevate the viewpoint into the thing, and then you're able to approach it and possibly deal with it, or maybe even just witness it from like a higher vintage point. So blind spot. blind spots. And we all have them, you know, we all have them. And then slowly we begin to maybe uncover some of them, and then another ones show up that are buried underneath. And then it's like this endless process of peeling onion, right? You don't know what you don't know. And the moment that you think you know something is the moment where something's going to come smack you in the face and show you that you in fact do not know, you know, a whole lot. And it does feel very accurate, because the more I do this work, the more tools I have, the more I am certain how little I know, and how unpredictable these things can be, and how you know, things just come out of left field while you thought you had certain parts of yourself under control, when in fact you don't. Or maybe you do momentarily, but then a whole new level of something that you thought you have addressed, or something you thought you have mastered. Anytime you think you have mastered something, it's like a recipe for, you know, the universe come in and being like, really? Are you sure about that? Right? Let's test that theory in practice, right? And life has a ways to kind of, you know, throw people in your way and situations that challenge exactly those beliefs. Blind spots. You know, it rolls into hindsight. Hindsight, when you look back at something, you are kind of like, yep, did not see that, did not see the whole picture, did not see that angle, excuse me, or this angle. Hindsight is part of that, but hindsight is more reflective, because you're kind of over there already, right? You had the realization, instead of or in comparison to blind spot is happening in the moment. So blind spot is happening now, where you now do not have awareness of certain thing, and it's tripping you, basically. It's tripping you. You're not able to as effectively distance yourself, or separate, or dissociate yourself from whatever it is that you're looking at, and you kind of stuck running in that loop, and until some of those blind spots, or that one blind spot that could be just one for the moment, right, is revealed to you, only then you're like, oh, you know, sometimes it's like, oh, whew. Sometimes it's instantaneous. Sometimes all of the sudden you have that light bulb moment, right? That realization when you're like, shit. And it almost immediately changes the whole energy of the thing. And then sometimes it's a little more granular. Sometimes it's softer. Sometimes it's like just a feeling where you're like, wait, there's something more. You know, there's something else. Maybe I'm missing something. That's kind of where it begins, right? Maybe I'm missing something. And then if that curiosity wins, then you're kind of like, then you are moving yourself into a little more productive energy outside of the loop, into more of an inquiry. What do I need to see? What do I need to see here? Right? What am I missing? And that's much more productive mindset. Instead of being kind of closed to the possibility of blind spot, where you think you know. Like, the moment you think you know, it's over. It's over. So just kind of notice where that hits you, from the perspective of that thing that you are holding in front of yourself, or that we're using to run through some of these processes for ourselves. So blindside, not being able to dissociate yourself from a certain perspective, and then how that creates this this loop that is energetically sucking energy. 15 minutes, just like that, sucking energy, out of you. Maybe comparing it a little bit to hindsight, when you're already out of it and you had that blind spot uncovered. And then the willingness, or not even willingness, but the ability, because it is a skill, right? It is one of the tools where you're like, okay, am I missing something, right? And then kind of taking yourself out of that cycling energy that is keeping you energetically stuck in whatever it is that you're thinking about, right? Whatever storyline you're running, whatever pattern, whatever reaction to a trigger or a wound or whatever, right? And that's a tough one. It is so hard. Again, it's like so hard to do that, to take yourself, to pick yourself and move yourself, shift yourself energetically, to that a little more, to that energetic shift, right? To that energetic shift. So that's what I have for today. That's what showed up for me. So again, we're on this journey through our meditation challenge together. Again, let me know how that sits with you. Let me know how that resonates, what it brought up for you. Anything that you would like me to bring into the mix, please do let me know. And keep up the good fight. Keep up the good fight. And I will see you tomorrow for day 8. Thank you so much for joining me, you guys. Mindfulness to the breath space, to the heart space, and the sacred that unites us all. I'm going to go sit with myself a little bit more, see if I can, pick my own self out of my draining energetic loop. And then I will be looking forward seeing you all tomorrow, hopefully a little earlier in the day. Thank you so much. Namaste. From my heart to yours always. Bye.